Polystyrene doesn't make a noise. It's
It does, it squeaks. My children bought me one of those record players, you know, you can digitise vinyl. You know the one I mean, you can plug your iPod into it.
transfer all your records into digital files.
And I can't get it out of the box because it's all covered in polystyrene. It's just sitting there.
Oh, no, so your kids bought you this?
Yes.
And you haven't taken it out of the box?
No.
You ungrateful bastard.
Did you hear that? It was like stereo.
We're back! We are back! Thank you very much, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to our permanent new home here in the green heart of England land. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can I just say, it's not so much green as inconvenient.
Why is it inconvenient?
Well, Jeremy, how would you like to tell the ladies and gentlemen why you decided to put our tent precisely here?
It is exactly here because this spot is exactly halfway between May's house and Hammond's house. So there is no squabbling over who had the longest commute.
Yes, but your house is just over there. I could see it. Just there.
I haven't got a house. You may remember you blew it up.
Oh, all right, your backup house.
Yeah, your spare house is just there.
Let's not get bogged down with whose house is the nearest.
It's yours. Definitely yours. Is that your cat?
The point is...
Oh, hang on, Jezza, you've got a parcel. No, I can tell there's a man putting one of those I can't be asked to ring the doorbell cards through the letterbox.
The tent is located here, yes. Right, good. Now, you know the BMW Z4?
Yes.
The only car, incidentally, designed on the interior and the exterior by women, OK?
Yeah.
Well, they're dropping it and replacing it with this. This has been designed by a man, so...
And where are you going with this one, Jeremy?
So it won't be able to take its jumper off by folding its arms.
What?
What are you on about?
Men can't take their jumpers off like women do. They're crossing their arms.
What?
I can do that.
Well, you're not a man.
Oh, right.
Well, I take my jumper. That's how you take a jumper off, like that.
You, how do you know? You just wait for the paramedics to come along, cut it off after your accident.
That's how you take a jumper off. I don't know what you're talking about.
Take your jumper off. Just take your jumper off. What's this? How do you take it off? There you see, like a man. Many women want to take their jumper... Oh, no, we can't do that. Seriously, women, you know what I'm on about? Women cross... If I tried to do that, I'd dislocate my shoulder.
Thank you for that nonsense, Jeremy. Can we maybe get back to the BMW now, which is a car?
Yes, it is. Now, I have to say, the old one was never as good to drive as it was to look at.
No, I know what you mean.
No, it wasn't. It was sort of baggy, wasn't it?
Yeah, and there was never an M version.
No.
You know, it was all just, like, unexciting. But I'm hoping this new one is as good to drive as it looks, and it does look very good, even though it will struggle in its jumper.
Yeah.
And we're doing that next week. Later on, though, we'll be picking the race up, so don't go away.
No, absolutely. There'll be more of that later. But now it is time for us to lean on the lamppost of chat in Conversation Street.
Right, yes, now... Formula One season is over, and as we all know, I'm sure Lewis Hamilton is world champion, and well done him. I think we all agree on that. I'm sure the baby Jesus was very pleased.
I don't doubt it.
Two of them are like that.
Oh, yeah, close.
For me, though, the highlight of the entire season was on the podium in Mexico, where Kimi Raikkonen set what I think is a new world record for the longest chug of champagne.
Did it?
Honestly, everyone else is sort of spraying it around. And I don't know if anybody else noticed, back of shot. I know the Finns like a drink, but he must have titanium throat.
Well, I mean, imagine the burp he did afterwards. A whole bottle.
It's staggering.
I think the problem is, for most people, the champagne on the podium is a ritual. But for Kimi Raikkonen, it's just another drink, and he hasn't had one for at least 2 hours.
I've been doing this for hours. I often wonder, you know, in Abu Dhabi, on the podium, they're given rose water, not champagne. So if Kimi's coming third, he's thinking, I've got to go on the podium for 20 minutes and drink rose water. Oh, no, I'm fourth. I can go straight to my motorhome and have a beer.
Tuck in.
I mean, he is a Finn. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Anyway, self-driving cars.
Yes.
We're told they're coming.
Yes.
We were told this week, actually, that there's a problem. in cities like New York, and I guess other cities around the world, that people who drive them, and indeed the cars themselves, are going to be bullied.
Bullied?
Yes, bullied, that's what they're saying, because obviously these cars will be programmed to never run over a person, OK? Which means you can just go and stand in front of them. I mean, you could.
Well, you could actually be better than that. You can probably herd them a bit.
No, I could herd them, and I would herd them. Because can you imagine how sanctimonious the man sitting in his new self-driving car is going to be with his paper? I'm not driving this, I'm just reading the paper while it drives me home. Well, if you just go back up, then it'll be going, oh, mustn't let him over, mustn't back him into a river.
Yeah, because...
That's what I'd do, I would.
They'll have all those algorithms on board for the moral decisions, won't they, as to what they're going to do. So carry a fake baby.
Oh, good plan.
You just walk up to it, because then the car will think, oh, fake baby or a fat smug man in a business suit, he's going in the river, isn't he?
He's going, it is exactly right.
That would be tremendous fun. Sadly, I don't think we're going to see anything like an autonomous car until long after we're dead.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. They are years and years and years away, decades away.
It's such a complicated area to apply what is essentially robotics.
You're dead right about robotics. I mean, I don't yet have a robot that could make me a cup of tea, which is quite simple, or bring me my slippers.
No, just domestic stuff.
And sex robots aren't even here yet.
Well, that's People from Essex, isn't it? Isn't there a show about... There's a TV show about that, isn't there?
Anyone from Essex?
Orange
You are
sex
from Essex?
robot.
There's a sex robot here, look.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he thinks of it. I don't, personally.
That's amazing. It's incredibly convincing.
It is, I mean, I'm scared. Can you go like that?
Much better than...
Can we stop this conversation? It's going to go somewhere wrong.
The way I would sum this up is this, OK? Somebody who says, we've made this self-driving car, it's brilliant. I will take him to Bolivia, put him at the bottom of Death Road and say, right, sit in it, reading your paper, while it drives you up there, passing all the buses with the 1,000-foot drop. You're prepared to do that, and you can reach the top with no poo in your underpants. I'll buy one.
Enjoy reading your newspaper on the way. It's not going to work.
No, it is. Right, read... Right, so that's covered self-driving cars. We needn't worry. Right, should we move it on?
Yes, moving on. Interesting news this week. Jeremy has been approached to be the ambassador for a vineyard in the south of France.
Yes, I have.
What are they thinking?
Can you imagine a better job than that?
Oh, yeah.
I am the ambassador for Chateau...
How's that going to go? And where is the ambassador? I was out the back, completely clattered, where he always is. You're not an ambassador, you're a customer.
Sorry, he's out the back with pneumonia.
Oh, yes, yes.
Still droning on about that. We start with James May, who has been driving a Kia hatchback.
So he gets to drive around the best bits of Europe in a Bugatti and you get a Kia.
You can shut up, Hammond. Because if you remember rightly, you were supposed to go and drive the Kia hatchback, but you couldn't because you can't drive round corners without crashing.
Oh, yeah.
Were you his stand-in?
Yes.
Has he said thank you?
No, he hasn't, actually.
It's unbelievably selfish, Hammond. You should have done, really.
Well, I'd broken my leg.
Well, don't go on about it. It's all we ever hear.
Doesn't matter, because the Kia hatchback that Hammond should have been driving but wasn't turns out to be not quite as boring as you might expect.
Right, listen. Bentley has announced a new version of the big 4x4, the Bentayga, OK?
Yeah.
Which they say is for shooting enthusiasts. We've got a picture here, look. It's got this kind of chest in the back, which has, you know, space for your guns and refreshments and so on. However, I know that whoever designed that has never been shooting in their lives.
How do you know?
Well, because if we examine the refreshments that have been photographed here, you will find that they have fitted it with rose lemonade and elderflower juice. Now, I'm sorry to say... No, I'm sorry to have to say this, but has anyone here been shooting ever? Yeah, you have. As you will know, a shooting day is an armed drinks party. There's no place for shit like that.
You turn up with elderflower juice at a shoot and the host will shoot you.
What?
Middle East market.
Middle Eastern market?
Oh, she might have a point with that.
Could be.
Oh, don't come here with your bloody sensible, rational views.
No, actually, it's funny you should mention the Middle Eastern market, because they've also done one for fly fishing, which happens in the Yemen.
Yeah.
And it gets better. And falconry. And falconry's really big in the Middle East.
What about dogging?
What about dogging?
Oh, why don't they do one for dogging? It's a countryside pursuit, and more people do that than do falconry, don't they?
Well, you're probably right. But
Well, they should.
Well, what would you have in a dogging Bentayga then?
Well, you'd open the drawers and there'd be like... Wet wipes? Straight away.
Wet wipes, good one.
Condoms.
Yeah.
Condoms. Maybe like a camera and a whip or something.
No, I reckon on the basis of Bentley thinking that's a shooting chest, that a Bentley dogging Bentayga, they would literally have a blanket, a bowl and a lead. Now, I'd like to begin Conversation Street with the world's most incompetent TV host, James May, who filmed the entire series, and, as you saw in that sting, the sting itself, and in the montage, and in Switzerland, looking, well, with long hair, looking like a roadie for Steppenwolf. And then he turned up this morning looking like a geography teacher. James, have you ever heard of the concept of continuity?
No, he had to do it. He had to make a change because he had his identity stolen.
I did, actually. That is absolutely true. I did have my identity stolen. Somebody got hold of, you know, personal details, address and date of birth, and they've opened, you know, 8 bank accounts with overdrafts and loans and all that stuff that I'd be liable for.
Yes, but what fascinates me about this is they had a choice. They could have been David Beckham or Brad Pitt.
Yeah, you can look around the world. Anybody. I want to be Barack Obama. Cool, powerful. No, wait a minute. I want to live in Hammersmith and have a folding bicycle so that one day I can walk out of my house and say, look at me, behold, I have become James May. And now I will organise your paper clips if you've got a pie.
But the good thing is, James, is we can guarantee this will never happen to you again.
Can you?
Yes, because we have come up with a new name for you.
Yeah. You are now Dingleberry Hand Pump. That is your name, your new identity.
Nobody's going to steal that because nobody's going to go into a mobile phone shop and say, I'd like to set up an account, please. My name is Dingleberry Hand Pump.
Yes.
You're completely safe. It's just that that's now your name.
I appreciate that.
You would not believe, you simply wouldn't believe the noise that that car makes. It's just so relentless.
Yeah, I can't imagine having to put up with that, an endless bellowing drone.
Yeah, it's a dreary drone.
Yeah, just going on and on and on and on.
Yes.
Yeah, anyway, you think you had it bad. I was travelling with a handicap.
James, it's not 1950. The correct term these days is a disabled.
He's not disabled, he's just clumsy.
What?
Actually, on that whole point, able-bodied people like to think that everything that could be done to make life easier and convenient for disabled people has been done. But when you find yourself in that position, you realise it really, really hasn't.
The Grand Tour, a show that cares. This week it's disabled people, and next week we're doing people who are BLT.
That's a sandwich.
Oh, no, what is it I mean?
You mean LGBT?
Yes, that. That's what I meant, not BLT.
No, but it's lesbian,
anyway.
gay, bacon and tomato. That's the one.
That's my favourite sandwich.
James, I'm very curious. How did you manage to go to Mallorca in all that beautiful sunshine and not catch pneumonia? Oh. Well, I mean, it's a danger.
No, it's funny you should ask, but actually I did go past a lot of places that sold pneumonia, but I didn't go in because I had to get up the next day early and go to work.
I've got some conversation.
What?
Nissan has introduced some special seats that record your sweat. OK, I've got a picture of them here. Right, they start blue, and then they go yellow where you've been sweating.
Why would you want seats that do that?
That's a very, very good question, and one
It's
that
the
I
only
asked.
question.
It is, yeah. Well, I looked into it. Apparently, they say it's because, as you can see, you can tell when you're dehydrated because you've been sweating.
I know when I'm dehydrated, it's because I feel thirsty and I need a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Well, be careful with that, you'll get pneumonia again.
That's how it starts. It's how it starts, it's how it starts. No, I know what you mean.
It's so applauding.
Yeah.
Hand pump.
That is the world's first... Nissan have come up with the world's first pneumonia-sensing car seats. That's absolutely incredible.
No, I know what you mean, though. Our bodies are equipped with means of telling us that we are dehydrated without looking at the seat.
Exactly, exactly.
Like if you go for a pee and just sand comes out, it's time for some water.
So if you're one of those sort of slightly fat jogger-type people, won't you end up with, like, a yellow line where your butt crack was? Because...
How lovely. How very lovely.
Do you know the worst one I ever had with that? I was filming in the States, in Texas, a town called Lubbock. and I borrowed a pickup truck from this quite large gentleman who lent it. We needed it for filming. Drove it around all day, took it back up to him in the evening, and he bent over to pick something up. And as he did that, he'd got his shirt not tucked in. As he bent over, I could see he'd done his jeans up under his arse. What? Because he wasn't a well-off man. He'd obviously bought a pair of jeans when he was 14 and didn't fit them anymore, so he just simply... And I could see he hadn't wiped his bottom.
Oh, God! Jeremy, who steers your eyes? Why did you look there?
Because you...
Look away! Look away!
Gigantic arse with the brown...
I don't want to see a man's claggy bottom.
I didn't either, but I spent all day squirming around on the seats of his pickup truck. And I was wearing beige trousers.
That's all right. You can explain it to people. It's all right, it's not mine, it's somebody else's.
Exactly. I've got somebody else's skid marks on my trousers. It doesn't work. Anyway, have you seen this? This is the AMG Project One, developed by Lewis Hamilton, so presumably it will have pierced door mirrors.
Yeah, and tattooed bodywork.
Yeah. And when it gets to where it's going, the sat-nav says, #blessed. It's going to cost £2 million. Doesn't say whether that includes tax.
Cheeky, Dave.
Cruel but fair.
A car I'm looking forward to driving this year is this. That is the new BMW 8 Series. And if it actually looks like that, that admittedly is the styling thing that they showed the public, but if it looks like that, I think it will be fantastic. And I've heard that it will be available with a 6.6-litre V12.
That's a waste of time.
What?
Well, V12s actually don't make much sense if you think about it.
Well, it's a bit of a sweeping statement.
No, seriously, because you get all the complexity and all the thirst, and where's the upside?
Well, for a given capacity, you get a greater number of smaller pistons, which have a lower reciprocating rate, which means you can have a higher rev line on the engine and effectively more power.
What's the point?
Yeah, the thing is, though, the power, the extra power you talk about as a result of whatever it was you just said, is offset by the weight, and they sound dreary, and all V12s depreciate like pianos falling off tower blocks. No, they do. Friend of mine, OK, he had a Ferrari GTC 4 Lusso, the V12 one, kept it 4 months and sold it after 4 months and lost £55,000 in 4 months. Yes, I mean, if he'd have had the V8, it wouldn't have depreciated that much. Well, mainly because he wouldn't have wanted to sell it in the first place.
Do you know, that is really good buyer's advice for every man, isn't it? We all now know.
This from a man who's just reviewed a £300,000 tank. Has anyone got an expensive car?
Yes.
What?
Range Rover.
That's not expensive.
The Range Rover, we use those as vans.
Yeah. What's the most... A what?
SVR.
Oh, an SVR, that's quite expensive.
Was that with the V8 in it? Do you not feel an idiot when you
got
overtake?
1.3.
Well, you just... with that supercharged V8, you feel like such an idiot when you overtake because of the noise it makes. It's genuinely embarrassing.
But I'll admit, OK, let's not talk about supercars anymore. Try and think of something that isn't about Lamborghinis. Non-stop. But we begin with mankind.
Wow, big start.
It is a big start. You see, the thing is, as a species, we are very pleased with ourselves because we have the Porsche 918 and the Ferrari, cars that can travel at 212 miles an hour, an incredible speed, whereas cows and ants...
What are you going on about?
Well, think about it, OK? A cow is exactly the same now as it was a million years ago. Well, maybe a bit more delicious now, but basically the same. It still stands around all day long in a field eating grass, whereas we think that we've improved. But have we?
Yes.
Yeah, we have.
Well, now you say that, but we were travelling at way more than 212 miles an hour in our cars 25 years ago. I think we should do more festive stuff now and turn on the lights on our motoring-flavoured tree.
Yes, and I'd like to go first, please, if I turn on the lights that I've made using the back lights from various cars. Look! That's Christmas, isn't it? Oh.
I'd like to add my lights to the festive tree, which I've made out of indicators, so they're orange and they flash and they're warm. Are you ready?
Oh,
How about that, then?
That's very...
Right!
No!
Why not?
Do not switch on whatever you've made.
Why?
Because you'll blind everybody in the tent.
Why do you always think I'll have overdone it?
Because you always overdo it.
Ready?
Oh, dear God.
Look at that! Why are you grimacing?
Don't encourage him.
What? It's brilliant! It's a bit bright, I admit,
It
but...
is bright. You've burnt people's eyes out.
Why is it a cross?
This is a baby Jesus.
It's the baby Jesus, not the dead Jesus.
What?
The cross is what he was crucified on. That's Easter.
Oh. So, what should it be at Christmas?
A star.
That's Jewish.
No,
It is. Jews don't do Christmas.
it's a different sort of star.
You've used the wrong religious symbol.
What that is a big spoiler alert.
Yes. it is. Yeah.
I've given away the ending.
Yeah.
If you don't want to know what happens to the baby Jesus later on, look away now.
I did need a shower after that day when I got to my hotel room, I'll tell you.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. Because I spent all day sharing a small metal box with a 4.2-litre radiator in the south of France in the summer. Honestly, my butt crack
We don't need to talk about your butt crack now, please.
What?
Don't
I'm just
talk
saying it was
about
like the
that.
Colorado River down there.
okay.
Like...
We'll come back to that later. Not that.
We are actually coming back to that later. He's sweating like a pig.
But there are other things in there too. But right now...
I drove that car, not that one, but I drove a 720 a couple of weeks ago and I didn't love it.
Are you just being obtuse because I did?
No, honestly, I didn't like the brake pedal.
What, was it the wrong shape?
No, it
Wrong
was...
colour?
No.
Was it in the glove box?
No.
Was it in fact the brake? Was it the handbrake?
No.
Was it round and in front of you?
No, listen, the problem was it was like, imagine a volume knob on a stereo where the volume doesn't start till you get to 6. So you don't push and then it all happens. And you wouldn't have noticed it on the track, but on the road, it was almost impossible to drive smoothly. It drove me mad, nearly as mad as the seat controls.
What was wrong with those, then?
Well, they were really complicated.
I should explain, by the way, that this is a man who, a couple of days ago, summoned a woman from the other side of London to help him send a tweet.
Yeah, he did.
No,
It was a complicated tweet.
No, but no, it wasn't complicated.
Did you try the seat
Can
controls?
I say, actually, yes, and I agree with you. There's no sense.
There's no sense at all that you can't recline them. You can't make them do what you want. Anyway...
Pneumonia.
I don't know how it's going to work, though, because the problem is the three of us have never had a commercial tie, have we? I mean, you may be surprised to hear this. We dress ourselves.
No, it doesn't mean we put our clothes on ourselves.
We're not sponsored by a clothing company. I know you're going to be staggered to hear that. But
Model's own.
Yes, this is it. I go into a shop and I choose these and then I buy them with my money, watches and everything. We buy everything ourselves. That's why, so we don't know how it works, really, all the commercial
No,
stuff.
we are on...
Well, actually, it's funny you should mention that, because you know that pink and purple striped rugby shirt thing that I've had for years?
Yeah.
That I always wear. You do?
Yes.
You know the one I mean,
It's a top.
don't you? Yes? Yes.
I know, yeah.
Blue and
Top.
mauve strip. Yeah, it's
Did
a
you
top.
just say top?
Well, it's a top.
It's not a top.
It is
Lucy,
not a
it's
shirt. It's not a T-shirt. It is a
Hang on,
top.
I'm sorry, I've never said this before in my entire life, and I promise I'll never say it again, but I'm with James May on this. A man cannot wear a top. He's
Ordinarily,
right.
no, but that is... Technically, it's a hooped top.
Anyway, that's not the point. I was at an event once, and a man sidled up to me, and he took me to one side, and he was from Gant, the big American clothing company that made that thing originally, that shirt.
Top.
Yeah.
And he begged me, he said, please stop wearing it, please. And then... But it got better than that, because he says, if you stop wearing it, you can have as many free clothes as you like. But I still said no, because I'm an arse. Yes.
Hey! What about... Why don't we do...
What?
Reverse sponsorship. It's just occurring to me. You know, Levi's once said, I'm ruining the Levi reputation because I always wear Levi's. Why don't I say to them, give me 100 grand, I'll wear Angus. We could take it to what? No, what about watches? I sit like this and I'm going to say something deeply offensive to thousands and millions of people around the world, Omega, unless you send me 50 grand and I'll wear a Rolex, which is the watch of choice for all the world's asses.
I'm not a lawyer.
You're not.
But isn't that extortion? It is extortion. It just
I'll tell you
is.
what, I've got a better idea.
What?
Why don't we say to people they can put in bids to put their logo on the bottom of Richard Hammond's car? Because chances are they'll be lucky.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
Imagine the commentary. And here comes Richard Hammond. Oh, no, he's gone off. Pepsi.
That's a very
Thank
good
you.
idea.
Good.
Take a lesson from the Queen. She's been the Queen now for, what, 65 years? Now, she has the constitutional right and power...
Really? This is actually their display team.
This
This
bit better go in, because that's going to be... I'll editable now. They should take a lesson from the Queen. She's been in power now, what, 65 years? And she has the constitutional right to declare war on another country, OK? She can do that, and she never has. I mean, how long would you last before you declared war if you had the ability to do it?
I'd give it 2 days.
Exactly.
And it'd be all out.
I'm declaring war on France. That's what I'm doing.
Well, you would if you could. That's the problem. That's why they do it.
I actually sympathise with the fire brigade, because I bought a chainsaw the other day.
Oh, my God.
No, I did.
Are you sure?
Yes, but when you've got a chainsaw, you use it for everything. I was thinking, oh, I've got to carve the Sunday joint. I'll get the chainsaw. Opening a letter, get the chainsaw. Bread, use the chainsaw.
Your eyebrows could do with a bit of a trim.
As soon as the show's over, they're coming off with a chainsaw.
But I know what you mean. You've got it, so you use it.
Exactly, and they've got, what's it called, Jaws of Life?
Jaws of
They're
Life.
going to use it, and they are doing.
Yeah, and we've got an important message, actually, for all firemen and firemen women. Stop cutting the roofs...
I think that's right, mate. Carry on.
It's equal opportunities.
Carry on.
What's the matter with you?
It's a modern world.
Stop cutting the roofs off our cars, or we'll come round and cut the roof off your painting and decorating van.
Right, that's covered the fire brigade. Let me explain the problem, OK? This is how Scale Electric works. You take out the car, wow, you think, look at that, it's like a Dodge Viper, and then throw it under some furniture.
And you have just played Skeletric.
Because that's
all
what
it can
happens
do. Yeah.
immediately with Scale Electric.
No, you get your little sister to go and pick it up. Scale Electric should come with a little sister, mine did.
No, it shouldn't come with a little sister.
It did.
Did you just say that out loud?
Yeah, he did. I was hoping to just carry on.
My little sister's 12 years younger. The year I got my Scale Electric set, I also got a little sister.
Don't disillusion him of it. He thinks that's where they come from.
He came from Hornby Hobbies.
No, it shouldn't arrive at all.
Two things are going to happen. Either you go too fast, in which case the car goes under furniture.
Yes.
Or you get the speed right and it just goes round and round
Yes.
and round and round. Forever!
Yes, you find the speed at which the cars don't come off, and then you just watch them. What you're doing at that point is watching electricity happen.
Yes.
Well, I can see why you were disappointed in it, Hammond. You put an electric car on a racetrack and the next thing you know, you've crashed. Sorry, that was a bit tight.
That wasn't even in the back, that was in the face.
Lamborghini has come up with a new 4x4. We've got a picture of it here. Amazing looking thing. Fabulous,
It does
actually.
look good, that.
Make no mistake about that. Twin-turbo V8, which will be an Audi or a Porsche engine. 641 horsepower. The only problem is they've called it the Urus, U-R-U-S, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds to me like another word for bumhole.
No, I mean, it's a bit medical
It
sense.
is. How's your Urus? It's a bit itchy.
Mine's inflamed, I can't pee. It's one of those things, isn't it?
It's something
down there.
Exactly, down there. Sort of thing when you go to the doctor, he's, I'm going to check your Urus, and then he puts a glove on.
No.
Oh, he's snapping a glove on. I don't want that. Anyway, so if you want one of those, there it is. And I want to start with the Bentley Continental GT, because that's been around for what? 15 years now?
Yeah, it is.
15 years. Anyway, they've restyled it, given it an all-new look. Here it is.
Well, that is radical, isn't it? Yes, all they've changed, what?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. Anyway, on the inside, they say it has driver-orientated instruments.
What, as opposed to what?
Yeah, no idea. And they say the central command screen is retina quality.
I hope it's not my retina quality. It'll be sort of slightly blurry and a bit bloodshot round the edges. But actually, if you defocus my camera, you can see what it would look like if... Something like that.
Actually, that's better.
Yeah. To be honest,
better.
I wish I had your retina sitting here looking at you. It's better.
I do. So anyway, in short, this car, right, it looks the same as it did before. It has a speedometer you can see and a sat-nav screen that's in focus, all for £150,000. No, but actually, no, to be fair, for a W12 twin-turbo car like that, 150 grand these days isn't bad.
It's not bad at all.
And I bet that's a bloody good car.
I think it probably will
I bet you it is.
I bet that's going to be bloody good as well. The only thing I don't like about Bentley, I wish they'd stop going on about all that Bentley boys at Mulsanne and men in aprons making things. I've got a bit from their from their blurb here.
With your blurry eyes. Here we go.
Blurry eyes,
Retina
exactly.
quality reading coming
Really
up.
not working, is it?
says-
Oh,
It says
so
designed,
depressing.
engineered and handcrafted in Britain. But the truth is, that's a Porsche Panamera underneath, and it has a VW engine and a Porsche gearbox, in fact.
No, that's true, but the chief executive of Bentley is called Bunter Potherington Smythe.
Is it?
No, he's called Wolfgang Durheimer.
Is he?
Yeah, it's a bit of a giveaway.
But that's exactly the sort of thing they should celebrate, you see. They should say, Bentley, don't worry, it's reassuringly German.
Precisely. That's what you want to hear, actually.
Yeah,
There's a
exactly.
chance it might work.
Aston Martin's launched this. It's the new Vantage.
That looks great, doesn't it? It does
It
look
does
good.
absolutely
does-
spectacular.
That actually looks like the one-off Aston they made for the Bond film.
Oh, no, from the back especially. We've got a picture of it from the back. I mean, look,
Yes.
that is just a spectacular-looking thing. And it's been fitted with the twin-turbocharged 4-litre V8 from Mercedes. The AMG engine.
Yeah.
And that is just brilliant. It's the work, actually, of the man with the best name in the motor industry, no, the second best name. Man with the best name is Lamborghini's chief test driver. He's called Max Venturi.
Yeah.
He's never had sex.
No. He's young and good-looking as well.
Yes, I know. Anyway, the guy at Aston, their technical officer, is called Max Swedge.
What?
Max Swedge.
Swatch.
No,
That's what I said.
It didn't. No, it's
You sound like a broken dentist drill.
You're being racist.
I'm not.
You
What?
are. The man's Irish.
I'm not being racist.
You are, just because you want him to be called Paddy O'Malley.
I didn't say you can't.
He's good.
You
He's right, he's called
being
Max
racist on television.
Anyway, we'll gloss over your...
I'm not. That is...
It's embarrassing. They've also... I should say, Max Swedge has also put the Mercedes engine in the DB11. And I love that engine, and I love that car. That's going to be one hell of a combination.
That could
really
be
is.
amazing, couldn't it? How much is it going to be?
Well, weirdly, not much less than the V12, actually. But I think that the V8 will be better because the engine will be lighter.
Yeah. So what you're saying, in fact, is smaller is better.
No.
Anyway, Jeremy Clarkson, not everybody is as thoughtless as Richard Hammond. I'm certainly not, and I have bought you a present.
Oh, thank you, James. What is it?
It's the season of goodwill to all men, even if you hate them. I have got you for Christmas a T-shirt.
Are they my lungs?
Yes, they are.
Well, that was when I... It is.
No, but there was a lot of work went into this because I had to ring up the hospital in Mallorca and I asked the doctor, if I could have a copy of the scan of your lungs, and he let me have it, and I printed on the T-shirt, and this is the...
That was the pneumonia.
Yeah,
is
that's
what-
the bit where your lungs were infected.
Yes.
I've coloured that in pink, you know, to show your favourite type of pneumonia.
Is that... Are they bubbles?
Yes.
James, I don't drink Prosecco. I'm not a girl.
Oh, no, of course, you're the Viking, Jeremy Clarkson, with his still pink wine that you drink out of a hollow horn.
All real men drink rosé. Thank you, James. That is a thoughtful gift, and I shall treasure it.
No, it's OK, Jeremy. There is as much pleasure in giving as there is in receiving. I suspect more.
Leave it! Leave it!
Right, the organisers of the Formula E motor racing series, which is like Formula One but for electric cars, they've recently staged a race between one of their cars and a cheetah. Now, we've got a shot from the video they took of it here. Now, let me ask you two a question, right? The cheetah's top speed is 70 miles an hour. The car's top speed is 140 miles an hour. So which one do you think won?
Was it the car?
Yes, it was.
Wow. So the mechanical device with a higher top speed beat the bewildered animal that didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Literally the most pointless race in history.
Yeah, it was basically an exercise in not running over a cheetah.
I tell you what I thought you'd like most of all for this year is this.
I do like the look of that. That is the new... It's the Dodge Challenger Demon. It's basically an even more powerful version of the Hellcat I drove in the last series. 840 horsepower. And if you look, it's got those little wheels at the front because it's set up there for drag racing. Big
But it
wheels
looks
at
like a
the
T-Rex.
What?
It's ridiculous. It's like that. It's just stupid. That's why T-Rexes died out. They couldn't reach anything.
front. Well, they were good at drag racing, though, weren't they?
Yeah, but they couldn't even pleasure themselves.
Sorry?
Well, how would a T-Rex pleasure
How's
itself?
your mind even gone there?
I'm telling you, that's why...
Is that why they were always in such a bad mood?
Yes. And that is the end of Conversation Street. You know, Chinese companies like to give themselves Western names, OK?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Well, there's a Chinese spare part company, they do brakes and what have you, that's called, this.
Well, it's...
Thing is...
Well, it's memorable, isn't it?
It is memorable. Thing is, though, if you type that into Google...
Oh, don't.
You've really got some strong images for 27 pages before you get to your brake disc.
Sitting there an hour later with eyes like that. Only wanted some brake pads and now I've seen things I can't unsee.
What were you looking for when you came across it?
What had you put in? Had you been through all 27,000 pages to get to that one?
I was just looking at... And that is the end of this week's conversation.
Now, we have always argued that women, whatever they say, are impressed when a man performs a perfectly executed handbrake turn.
Oh, it's absolutely true. I mean, we've all been watching Sir Attenborough's fish programme, haven't we? Yeah? Yeah, the Blue Planet. Unbelievable, OK? Now, the thing is, every single week, you see, OK, manfish comes along, there's ladyfish there. Manfish can make his face swell up. It's huge, like a satellite dish. And ladyfish like, I'm not bothered, I'm not bothered. But she is. She is. And then she's going, I like his huge face. And then they do sex, or whatever these fish do, and then they have babies. Now, that massive face that a fish can do, that's basically the same as the handbrake turn. All those birds that dance about, we've got the handbrake, birds can dance about.
All part of nature's dance of love.
Exactly.
But the problem has been, of course, most modern cars now have electronic handbrakes. Yeah. You can't do a handbrake turn with one of those. It's...
Oh, that's why Tinder's become so big.
Yeah.
That's it.
You have to swipe right because you can't slide left anymore. That's what's going on.
Well, so that's been the problem. With electronic handbrakes, we can't conduct this mating ritual. Ford have noticed this, given it some thought, and they've come up with this. It's an aftermarket part that you fit to your car. They call it the drift stick.
Ooh, they ought to call it the love handle.
Yeah. So the point is, what it does, it overrides the ABS and you can actually perform proper handbrake turns in that.
Girls are going to say, if you pull that, that was ridiculous and you frightened me. What they actually mean is, I'm hot.
Yeah.
Come on. You admit it. You're impressed by a handbrake turn, aren't you?
Just thought of it. If you say no, that's just part of it.
You've never been in a car with someone who's about handbrake turn?
Oh, hello.
Are you together?
What are you doing, man? What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? How did you...
You drove here today, huge fields everywhere, and you didn't think, oh, just give it some of that. What?
Press the heck out of it.
On the way out, just mind the sheep.
I've got a bit of conversation.
Is it about iambic pentameters?
No.
Is it about the Embraer 190?
No.
Is it about plywood?
No.
What is it about?
It's about vans.
Is it?
Yes, because I borrowed a transit van the other day, and the amazing thing about it is it's got all the equipment you'd expect on a well-posh car, including those sensing headlights that dip automatically. So when they see lights coming the other way, they automatically dip, but they also dip if they see a reflective road sign.
Oh, I know. That's unbelievable when that happens, because it blinds you, because they've dipped, and now you can't see where you're going. As you approach a sign warning you of a hazard ahead, which you then can't see. No, they are stupid.
Here comes a really dangerous right-hand bend. I'll just turn the lights off so you can't see it.
They do that.
But apart from that, I have to say, the Ford Transit van, long wheelbase, is absolutely brilliant. Much better than any SUV, and half the price. And the amazing thing is, you can get absolutely tons in the back of it.
Well,
I mean, just...
Yeah, James,
What?
it's a van.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what it's for.
The one problem with it I found, is that when you load a van, you have to get out. You don't step out. You sort of do a little jump so that you look...
No,
cool.
I don't do a little jump.
I don't think you have to.
You do a little jump, but what I didn't think of was that I had my big Parker on that I've got on in that film, and as I jumped out, the hood caught on something on the roof, and I actually hanged myself pretty much as I...
If you actually had hung yourself, we'd have put out a press release saying that you died in an autoerotic accident.
Yeah, we will.
Did you have an orange in your mouth?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you would have done our version of events, mate, definitely.
You'd have been wearing a fur-lined anorak and nothing else when you were found by police. But you wish you hadn't started that conversation now. I have actually got you a present, Hammond.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's in a presentation box. Here it is. The box is broken, and I apologise for that. But there it is. Check it out.
It's a ruined watch.
Not just any ruined watch, it's your ruined watch.
Is it?
Yeah, that has been retrieved from the wreckage of the car that you destroyed with your incompetence. And that survived the fire. It's actually still working. It doesn't look pretty, I admit, but it's still working.
Well, that's actually quite a nice present in a way, isn't it?
Exactly. And they've written a little thing on the box, made in Switzerland, and then carefully perfected on the 10th of June 2017 by the British.
They don't mean perfected, do they?
No, and they don't mean British, they mean you, is what they
It's
mean.
actually quite a mean present after all.
Well, look, Hammond, I've got you something. I have got you a pair of running shoes, and I've added to them the logo of your favourite local car maker. And you can't say you don't like that. You love running. You go running every morning. I've seen you go running in the evening as well.
I cannot wear those
Why not?
because I'm not allowed to run anymore. I broke my leg.
Stop
dude,
going
keep
on
going
about it. That's all he talks about. My leg. We brought you those presents, 2 of them. I've got you another present here. Look at that, an alarm clock. Made it. It's beautifully styled. Right, I'm going to set
No,
it.
it's so funny. It's crashed. I see.
Yes, it crashed upside down, car on top. That's why it's yours. Right, I'm just setting it now. There you go. Now pretend to be asleep.
What?
Don't worry.
Oh,
Just
right.
pretend to be asleep. This is on your bedside
Okay.
table.
I'm asleep.
Ah, there it is.
Christ!
It's going off. What?
That's my alarm.
Yes.
Well, that's...
Come on.
I can't have that. That'll just set fire.
You've got my glasses.
That'll just set fire to everything on my bedside.
Sorry.
Oh, God! It's not me that's on fire this time.
I missed. I haven't got my glasses.
I can't wake up to that every morning.
When you're driving along and your car catches fire, which you will because you'll have crashed it, you'll be used to it because you have to put a fire out every single morning.
Yes, I won't have slept for a year waiting for an explosion next to my bed.
Stop
every morning.
going on and moaning about all the presents we've
It's
given you.
traumatising.
Look, I have bought you a pair of trousers. There
What?
you go. Yep.
Oh, thank you, James. Very nice. Yes,
Not
they're
just any old trousers.
No, they've got all Velcro on them. What's that about?
Well, it means paramedics won't have to cut your clothes off you. And you'll save a fortune over the coming year, you see.
Do you know, I was following a pigeon the other day.
You what? What, is this a new job? You owned an agency? Jeremy Clarkson, PD, pigeon detective. It's going to be brilliant. Did its partner think it was cheating? Follow him.
No, it was just following.
Well, every time it stopped, did you have to read a newspaper like that and then look for its reflection in the shop window?
I was merely following it
And
up
anyway, you should have just gone to Trafalgar Square. That's where they go.
I was merely driving up my drive, and a pigeon was flying along in front of me, and I clocked it, and it was doing 35 miles an hour.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, that's another animal that would lose a race against a Formula E car, then, because that does
We
140.
should race it
Had
immediately.
nothing to do with running a private detective agency.
But you are running a private detective.
I was simply following a pigeon. It wasn't that interesting anyway. The essence of it is...
Did you follow it into a tree? Because that would have been really risky, wouldn't it? No, the essence of it is, so if your animal does less than 140 miles an hour, it will lose the race against the Formula E car. If it does more than 100... Well, no animal does more than 140, does
It
it?
does. Peregrine Falcon does.
Does
God,
it?
Does
what if you-
220.
What if you have to follow one of those? I can't take the case, I'm afraid. I'll need a new car.
Right, now, what else? What more conversation
I
have
have
we
some
got?
conversation for you.
You have some
Actually,
conversation?
I do, yes,
What
because
is
you
it?
know, last week you were talking about how you ended up following a pigeon. How fast did you reckon it was going?
35?
35, I
Yeah.
think you said. The other day, I was going down a country lane and I ended up following a blackbird,
Yep.
and that only does 28. And that's interesting, because that means a blackbird in level flight is slower than a pigeon.
What is wrong with you two? Why are you following birds? Why not follow Russian spies or straying husbands or
No,
something?
listen, Hammond, pay attention.
Oh, God.
I did some research on this. You know the top speed of a pigeon, if it really puts its foot down, is 90. In level
it?
flight, 90 miles
90
an hour. I know.
Now, that is amazing, Hammond, because you wouldn't think a pigeon's wings could shift enough air.
No, I
to
wouldn't
make it
think
go-
about it.
No, stop. You say that. A hummingbird can fly faster than a goose.
Can it?
No, it's like that.
Nobody cares.
They do.
Stop ranking birds.
What?
Rank.
Anyway, I think that the top speed of birds is a new hit show. And you and I can host it, and you'll end up as Buttons in Panto in Swindon. And then you'll shoot yourself in a room in a Premier Inn one night.
Yeah.
There'll only be one police car outside,
Yeah.
and it'll be a Vauxhall Astra. That's your future. Anyway, that is enough Conversation Street this week, so let's move it on. Thank you very much.